FanDuel Punch Out. I'm Jason Gilba, JGilba11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at another 8-game slate here on FanDuel. Tonight, kind of a wide range of options you can go on the hill. So I think really paying up for hitters is definitely doable today.
A wiry range of options.
Wide range of options.
Wiry. Anyway.
Do you want to say anything about the slates?
No. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
All right, we'll jump into the first game here. And Reds and Nationals, two lefties on the hill. You got Brandon Finnegan versus Gio Gonzalez. Overall, two guys that I'm not afraid to attack with right-handed bats here on FanDuel. More so looking at the national side of things, I like those righties.
Yeah, I think Adam Duvall is a nice value here against Gio, but it's obviously not a cash game type of play or anything like that. But righties in the Reds lineup, I don't mind either. I think in the Nationals lineup, we're kind of targeting Jason Worth there. I think that's a solid sort of value-ish play. But beyond that, I don't think I'm really stacking this game. I think I'm looking elsewhere to do that, but there are some decent options.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned Duvall. He's kind of that standout Reds guy, and he is definitely just a GPP play. And you look at Gonzalez, him and Brandon Finnegan have been arguably very similar. Finnegan obviously gives up a little bit more of a hard ball rate, a little bit more home run potential for the national side, but Gio Gonzalez, 325 WOBA to righties going back to last year. So I do think Duvall's certainly in play. And as you mentioned with Worth, he's the standout guy there. And I don't mind him, Rendon, Ramos, if he's in the lineup. I think those right-handers are definitely intriguing.
For sure.
So Indians and Blue Jays next one here, Carlos Carrasco versus R.A. Dickey. And for me, we talked about Carrasco on DK. And some of those Toronto bats being really cheap because of him. Here, they're kind of still on that higher price tag. I'm not really intrigued with their prices. I like kind of a lot of guys better in those ranges.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If there was one night to take sort of a night off from the Blue Jays, this might be the one. So Carrasco, strong option there. Obviously, that averages out by the Blue Jays, but that just crosses them both off for me, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And Cleveland on the other side, they're expensive. For me, they're kind of a GPP team for me tonight against Dickey. Obviously you can take some values in that back end, like a Ramirez or a Chisenhall if you wanted to. But I think guys like Napoli, 4K, Carl Santana, 4.6 are really expensive. I don't mind a Kitness at 3.7, but second base is pretty low tonight. I think I'd just rather spend up to Carpenter.
Yeah, and Yan, baby. Yan.
You have some sick obsession with Yan Gomes, and I don't get it.
Oh, he's really bad. I did until I looked up his splits, and then I was like, ooh, 190. He had really low WOBAs and no ISO, and just it's not pretty. It's not pretty. Don't go to Fangraphs if you're a Yan Gomes fan. You just kind of stay out of there.
Yeah, it looks like a murder page.
It's really not fun if you're trying to create a narrative for him in a positive light. In terms of Kipnis, I like this matchup, but as we talked about yesterday, last night, today, this morning, for tonight's slate, R.A. Dickey, knuckleballer, the righty-lefty, a little neutralized by that factor, I think. So while you do like Kipnis against righties, it's not as much of a factor against sort of his knuckleball. But either way, I do like the top of this Indians lineup, and they are more of a contrarian tournament play.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think they're just kind of still that kind of high risk, high reward top option. Obviously, they have that upside in the Rogers Center against Dickey, who, obviously has some blow potential. I think he's a guy who usually kind of sits around that 4 earned run mark as a starter. Over 5-6 innings. So I think that's kind of what you're getting. You got to kind of pick your spots there.
Right.
Detroit and Tampa here. Jordan Zimmerman versus Jake Odorizzi. I really like the right-handed bats for the Tigers. Consistently at their price tags, I can't get away from them. You look at Odorizzi, 333 WOBA allowed to righties since last year. Big with time at 1.62 home runs per nine. He's pitched better at home at times, but overall, I still think this Tigers offense is really intriguing.
Super intriguing. And I mean, obviously the difference is Victor Martinez, 3,200, and you can throw him in there with Cabrera. So Kinsler, Cabrera, Martinez, Castellanos, just fire them in.
I mean, I'm going to the game tonight there, so I'm going to let them know. I'm going to hop down to that Tigers dugout and be like, hey, guys, I got a full DK stack going. Could you, get it together tonight? Go yard a couple times.
Steven Moya jumps out of nowhere and says, yeah, sure. And then he hits a home run.
I'm going to tell him, no, sit back down because you didn't fit into the stack.
Hey! Oh, okay.
But I do like them quite a bit, and I think those price tags really aren't that bad. I mean, 3.6 for Miguel Cabrera is really nice in comparison to the other options there.
That's a really nice deal. And as I mentioned, Victor Martinez is also a really nice deal. So even if you want to go those three with those two in Kinsler, I think that's a great option.
Yeah, definitely. And on the other side, I mean, the Rays, really similar price tags, and you're kind of looking at this game as which one do you kind of want to go with? I want to pick on Odorizzi a little bit more than Zimmerman, but obviously these Rays bats are still in play. I think they're much more deeper GPP options that I don't get crazy with, but I can toss in a Longo or a Forsythe if I wanted to.
Yeah, I think that's how we're playing this. You're not stacking the Rays, but like most nights, you can throw a Forsythe, Morrison, or Longoria in there and feel pretty confident that they're going to hit value at the very least.
Yeah, and Zimmerman hasn't really been a quality arm of late, and obviously that strikeout rate's really low, which is kind of neutralized. I mean, that's the big problem with the Rays is they strike out a ton, but I don't see it really happening here. I think you can kind of look at Rays and feel confident with kind of those big names up top.
Definitely.
So, Cubs and Mets, the next one here, John Lackey versus Steven Matz, and we talked about Matz last night. On the DK pod, possibly being a guy who, if he does make it through all the way till 7-10 and does make the start, how healthy is he and how effective can he be?
Yeah, definitely putting my hand up on this one. No, thank you, sir. I'm just avoiding this for him. Obviously, when he's right, you're playing him in this matchup, but we just can't be sure. So I'm avoiding for sure. And actually, I probably wouldn't even be touching him either way. So this could get really ugly, I think.
Yeah, it has that potential. I mean, for me, I like the secondary pieces for the Cubs a little bit more than paying up. I don't mind, obviously, a Bryant at 4.2 with his upside or even a Rizzo at 4K. So I don't mind taking one-off shots. I don't think I'm going to get a full game stack in here, but, to be different and work them into maybe a Cardinal stack, just because of – they're going to be a little bit chalky tonight. I think you can mix a little bit of differences and kind of mix and match here.
You going with Bays and Addison Russell there?
I don't mind Bays. Him and Contreras are probably kind of the two right-handers that I'll look at that secondary pieces.
Gotcha.
So, but obviously Bryant, 4.2, we know the upside.
Yeah, Jesus.
Mets side of things, I'm not looking to really attack Lackey. This Mets offense is bad, and it's just a stay away situation for the most part.
I've tried that this year, and it's not enjoyable. It does not reflect positively on your lineups. So I think we can move on from there, and we don't have to go down that road tonight, guys. Don't do that.
No, I don't think so. And speaking of a road to go down, Marlins and Braves. I love this Marlins offense tonight.
Great segue, Jason. That was professional. Right. That was around the horn segue-esque.
Yeah, it's something I've learned over my
next Tony Kornheiser.
Yeah, it's something I picked up over my 15 years of podcasting history. I've been doing this since I was about 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I
was just something new every day. I didn't know that about you. It's pretty good.
I had a podcast that was just called The Playground. That's what it was. It was just called The Playground, and
wow. I had guests. And it was all about playgrounds and
what was happening around the area.
Nice.
So the snack table.
Was that on iTunes and Stitcher?
iTunes wasn't out yet.
Was it on cassette? Did you
Like,
like hand them out like mixtapes every
yeah,
week?
and then like people like eventually illegally downloaded on Napster. That's how far it went, you know.
Oh wow. Was there like a court case and stuff?
Yeah, I had to come in. People didn't really take me serious because my suit was too big for my body.
Restraining orders and such. Yeah.
Yeah, it got messy. That's when I dropped out. I fell off the grid for a while
Oh,
there and
wow.
figured, come back on once things got settled down. A lot of heat came off.
With Jeff Decker.
Jeff Decker was there.
Anyway.
Moments of
Yeah,
praise.
this Marlins team has really taken off, as we mentioned. I don't mind them. I think you could go with that 3 through 5 and potentially, I mean, it's definitely a slight overpay. But I think it could pay off quite a bit.
Yeah, they are a little bit more expensive. I mean, we saw Stanton's price tag shoot up quite a bit here over the last week. Obviously, deservingly so. He's looks like he's back to his usual ways. I like Dietrich and Bohr as kind of those secondary pieces outside of that outfield.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of Prado. I think he's the odd man out in that 1 through 6. And you're just looking at Fulte. It's 405 over allowed to lefties, 2.17 home runs per 9. Righties have hit him hard too. 3.42 over allowed, 1.36 home runs per 9. So between both sides of the plate, the Marlins have it covered really up top there.
That's okay. The way you describe that Marlins team is the best way, which is Martin Prado's the odd man out tonight. With price considered, just target those other 5, and I think you'll do just fine.
Yeah, definitely. And on the other side, I actually like Wei Yin Chen quite a bit tonight against this Braves team. I mean, the Braves have been awful against southpaws, and that's because they have a ton of lefties. And the only guy who you can maybe take a look at is Jeff Francoeur at 2,400, who mashes left-handers. He's the only honorable mention there.
Yeah, it's too bad on lefty nights because Freddie Freeman's neutralized, and he's just on that island there. Help me! Someone help me! And just nobody's coming. There's no ships within miles.
No, they're gone. I mean, the raft is turned over for everyone else.
He's just stranded. So, honestly, any night they can score 1-0 runs. So, while Chen isn't the strongest arm, he is a lefty. He has been solid this year. I could see 20 to 25 DK points. So, I mean, 30 to 40 FanDuel points is in play for him, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a win's likely.
Yeah.
Royals and Cardinals, this next one here, Chris Young on the hill versus Mike Leake. You know,
that's like when chicken parm's on the menu and you're like, ooh, I'm getting chicken parm tonight, baby.
Oh, I'm a veal parm guy.
Have you ever had, what's the vegetable alternative to that?
I'm just going to flat out say no before you even tell me what it is, because I've never had a vegetable alternative.
It's pomegranate. It's not pomegranate. It begins with a P. P platypus. P poopies. Yeah, all right. I forget. Not there. You guys know what I'm talking about. Something Parmesan.
It'll pop up in the comments. Hopefully.
Pumpkin. All right. Yeah.
Cardinal side of things, I mean, obviously Chris Young's numbers have been super inflated this year, but that's no fluke. I mean, he's been bad against lefties. 383 WOBA allowed since last year. 2.45 home runs per 9. Interesting to see what this Cardinals offense shakes up top just because of the injury situation. Piscotty dealing with the day-to-day situation. Diaz with the day-to-day situation. But at the moment, Carpenter and Moss, the two lefties up top that can really take advantage of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's eggplant parm, by the way.
There you go.
Absolutely divine. But anyway, yeah, Carpenter and Moss, I'm definitely going with those guys tonight. Potentially in cash. Again, Chris Young is just so vulnerable to like power. So I think that's just something you target pretty much every slate he's on. So it's pretty straightforward for me.
Yeah, definitely. And, if a Colton Wong sneaks up into the lineup, I don't mind him. And obviously Diaz, Piscotty, Holiday. I mean, Holiday is fine, but Piscotty, Diaz, if they're in the lineups, become an option. And obviously the Cardinals' offense is going to be a top stacking option tonight, just because Chris Young, regardless of who he's playing, is going to give you that option to kind of stack against for the upside.
Definitely.
So, as far as the Royals side of things, I mean, Alex Gordon at that cheap price tag against the league who struggled against lefties, I don't mind him. And then outside of that, I mean, Salvador Perez at 3-3, I really like.
Yeah. Obviously the prices are better than the Cardinals side. So once again, I like Alex Gordon. I think he's become pretty much an everyday guy in my lineups until they raise his price up to at least where the rest of the Royals are. But beyond that, I mean, I think you can look at a Hosmer too with some potential power in that lineup as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Hosmer is sneaking up in price tag there. Whit Merrifield 3-3, hard to use him just because Carpenter is right there, and also Dietrich is cheaper in a better spot. So
Right.
Merrifield's off the table. I think Gordon, Hosmer, Perez is kind of the threesome that you're looking at there.
Yeah.
So onto the Bay Area game again. San Francisco and Oakland. Two lefties, Madison Bumgarner versus Dylan Overton. Here, I mean, obviously the A side of things, Valencia Davis, super cheap, 2,700. Maybe you'd like them a little bit more cheaper. But obviously they have some home run potential. Chris Davis was scratched yesterday, so he might not even be in the lineup. But Valencia is always still an option. I mean, just because he has great numbers against Southpaws.
I'm probably going to fire off a lineup with Valencia just because he's 2,700. Obviously, it's a bad matchup, but 2,700 is really nice price for him. So, and then I think you look at the rest of this lineup, not really playable other than him, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. And I'm kind of in the same boat with the Giants side of things. I mean, Posey, 4,300 is too expensive for me. I don't mind an Angel Pagan. I think 2,800 is a nice price tag for him hitting up top. He's probably the only mentionable name that I feel like I could actually use from this Giants team.
I know this looks like a DK pricing, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
I'm not in on Posey at 4,300 or Belt at 4,400. I just think that's way too expensive. Brandon Crawford, it's not horrible at 34, but it's still a slight overpay in my opinion. So I'm just not. Other than, as you mentioned, Angel Pagan 2,800, that's pretty reasonable. And obviously, always check out what the Giants are doing at the end of their lineup because they usually have multiple just borderline minimum guys in that range. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, definitely. And with Crawford, I don't mind him as a shortstop option just because Machado's back over the third base, and there's not really a lot of expensive options to kind of pay up for.
Right.
Shortstop's a relatively weak, option tonight. So I don't mind Crawford. I'm hitting fifth. He's handled lefties well in the past. I don't hate the matchup.
Right.
Last game here, you got the Orioles and Mariners. Chris Tillman, Taijuan Walker. We talked about this one possibly being a situation where there's two kind of notable names as far as right-handers going tonight, but I think there's also a ton of upside for these hitters.
Yeah, I like this game quite a bit. So, especially on the Mariners side, I like obviously Cano and Seager. Seager a little more, but I think you can sort of target Tillman with this left-handed majority lineup. Not necessarily in the top, but I just think those two right there are a decent move.
Yeah, they always kind of possess that high upside, and I mean Cano. I'm with you. I think I'd rather see myself using a Seager more than a Cano, just because I still rather pay up for Carpenter. Who's just a couple hundred more. So I don't mind the Mariners tonight. I do think Tillman's a guy who's kind of started to regress. He was kind of over his head before, during the season, April and May. And you just get him out here. I mean, Safeco's actually been a stadium that some home runs have popped off, and I think we've seen that recently, and I think we're going to see that here tonight.
Definitely.
As far as attacking Taijuan Walker, I mean, right-handers over the last, since 2015, 324 WOBA allowed, 1.47 home runs per nine. I think there's plenty of upside with all those right-handed bats. You're looking at Adam Jones, Manny Machado, Mark Trumbo, and even Weeders I don't mind at 3-4, or even a Davis to be contrarian.
Sounds like a Trumbo Jones night to me, with price considered.
It definitely could be. And Machado's, I mean, Machado's my favorite guy from this team. I mean, 4,100 at third base is he's continuing to just tear the ball. So I like him quite a bit.
Yeah, no, that's a fair call. Really, the only guy we're kind of looking to take the night off from is sort of the end of that lineup there. I think the rest of them are all in play. Schwoop is a little expensive for my taste, but I think you can sort of roll with that stack if you want to.
Yeah, I definitely do too. And once again, I mean, he's at a price tag that's high, also at the same price as Carpenter. For me, anyone over 3,500, I just feel like, you know what, I'm going to bump it up and pay up to Carpenter. I don't care
Yeah,
how high
exactly.
priced he is. It's either pay down or go Carpenter for me.
Definitely.
So that's going to wrap things up here with the FanDuel Punch Out. Be sure to check out dailyfantasycafe.com for all the great tools and content.